Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of season 2-3 of the Oyasumi KefKef podcast. Or the Oyasumi podcast, I don't know.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, dude. Actually got some like... Oh my god, wait, hold up. Oh my god, hold up. Dude, I forgot. I have like a separate browser for the recording, right? For the when we do the podcast thing, where I do like filler background stuff, right? No, keep going. But I didn't mute the website yet, so I was hearing these awful like Pokemon sound effects. And I was like, oh shoot.
Oh my. Okay, I see what happened. That's
yeah, that's actually no. But fun fact. I got some. I mean, I always did this as a child, and I kind of kept it going when I was older, right? But like, it's kind of funny. Someone else mentioned it. Like, this podcast has 2 people, but you just put your name in it twice. And it's like, yeah, pretty proud of that. There you go.
I mean, yeah, wasn't it the thing where when we were trying to think about the name of the podcast, I ended up just being like, no, I like Oyasumi KefKef because I do like the sound of it.
We just stole it from Ponpon, and then I was like, Kef Whale or Whale Kef.
We were trying to
Whale
find
Kef
a
would have
way
worked
to-
better than Kef Whale, but you know.
Whale Kef just doesn't work. I don't like it. I like KefKef better. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's on your channel.
Well, I mean, we could have made a new channel for it, but I just thought I was playing stupid. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I also just don't like the idea of trying to mix our names. Like, in the title, I don't know if I want my name in the title necessarily of like a specific
Yeah, but I mean,
thing.
I think a lot of the friend that mentioned it was also more. He saw the title more as like a way of credits in movies. You know, when you have a movie, you're like the director, and there's only one director while 2 directors worked on it, for example. You know, it's that type of vibe.
I don't see that.
Well, you know, if you were not okay with it, we wouldn't have done it. That's as well. You know,
Yeah.
that was also
true.
a big factor for me in it.
It's just like, you know, like listen, okay? We all know Sasuke from the amazing,
Naruto.
terrible, shitty
Yeah,
Naruto, right?
okay.
The show is called Naruto, but can you say that Sasuke was not an important character? No, you can't. You know, it's just we're highlighting the protagonist.
I mean, yeah. Look at the Simpsons, bro. I think a lot of people's favorite characters are not even Simpsons characters. Or dude, I have that with SpongeBob, for example. So you know.
Wait, sorry, I'm not sure if I follow. Oh, as in not part of the Simpsons.
Yeah, the
family.
Simpsons family.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you know how many people love
Exactly.
Wait, how is I think it's Mo. I'm not so sure it's Mo. It's like the guy at the bar.
I'm
Oh yeah, you gotta.
the guy at
Yeah,
the
wait,
bar.
wait,
I'm not
Mo
a Simpsons fan
Simpsons.
at all. So.
It's a guy. Yeah, Mo. Yeah. I love Mo. Mo. Yeah, I'm not gonna say his last name. It doesn't matter. But the guy, he's basically like secretly kind of like a sketchy guy. It's pretty fun. But yeah, no, that's just the sad part. But a big thing I wanted to talk about today. Oh.
Is it the guy with like the gray
Yeah,
hair
with-
and
yeah,
the no
yeah.
eyebrows? Ah, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Mo.
I found it. Yeah.
I wanted to say Mo's Burgers, but that's a YouTube video I saw. It's a guy. It's like I was one of those street food guys. I love that. I love those type of videos. Like that's why I wasn't too sure if it was Mo. But yeah. The topic for today I wanted to talk about really badly, right? Was actually legacy, if that makes sense, right? Like, what do you want your legacy to be when you eventually die and probably piss yourself? You know. Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it is an interesting question. I thought we were going to try and segue into it because our topics were actually quite related to legacy in some way, like with The Simpsons and naming and the naming of.
No. Well, now that you say it like that, I actually didn't realize. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You kind of missed it, but yeah.
Ah, missed opportunities, bro. Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, we know what, it's fine. Yeah, no. Why don't you start us
Okay,
off?
so the reason I wanted to talk about legacy so bad, and I'm getting my ass whooped in Pokemon, by the way. It's just like, I was just thinking, right? Like, I haven't played badminton in a month, by the way. It's for multiple reasons, right? Because I was really enjoying the game, right? But I actually, one day I hurt my shoulder a little, and so I took a few days off. And then my coach also told me, why don't you take a longer break off, maybe? Because he also felt like my mental could have taken a break as well, right? Now, I'm not going to talk too deep about badminton because I understand that not everyone really is interested in that type of stuff. But it boils down to the fact that, like, I was a bit overly obsessed with badminton. And I also wanted to, like, I also needed to like confront the fact because my coach and I were having well. I really wanted to be on the competitive team, right? There's like two teams. You have like the people who just play badminton for fun, recreationally, and people who are part of the competitive team, right? But I had to prove myself to be on the competitive team. So I went on this quote-unquote tear run where I literally just tried to beat everyone to prove myself to the point where like, yeah, okay, I can beat all these people. Why am I not a part of the competitive team? That's what basically was building up to, right? And I was doing really well on that aspect. I was beating a lot of people, I was improving really quickly and stuff, and people really noticed it and mentioned it. But yeah, now that I have a month off, I was thinking about it a lot. But I also went to the doctor, by the way, to check my shoulder, and it's completely okay. But it's just like, damn, I really want to try my best at being really good at something competitively. Because for example, when I was younger, I was really good at chess, right? I went to this like tournament. It was like the Flemish tournament. So Belgium is divided in two parts, like the Flemish part, and I don't know what it's in Dutch, in the English, in the bottom part.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
In Dutch you say Wallonia, like the Wallons or something, the French part, I guess. And I actually ended up being like top 32 in the Flemish part in chess, right? And I was third best of my province, and I was number 1 of my city for my age category, of course, because yeah, there are a lot of strong chess players. Of course, I fell off really hardly with time because I didn't take the game too serious anymore. Kinda regret it, but it was also not the best hobby for me because it was, you know, sitting a lot, and I wanted to be more active as a child as well and stuff. So it makes mixed, but what it basically boils down to is I actually have felt how it's. Oh my god, I'm getting my ass whooped in Pokemon. I have felt what it's like to be really good in or like decently good or high in competition, right? And I really want to try hard at something again, to be really competitively good in something, right? And it tears my heart. This tears my heart apart at the idea that the fact that I will never be that in badminton, for example. Because if I wanted to be like actually interestingly good in badminton, I should have started like when I was like 12 or something, you know, or like 8 or something. And it's something I lament a lot. Like, oh, I wish I should, you know, if I started badminton at that age, you know, you're basically like clay or something. They can like the coach can literally like mold you into like the perfect technique and stuff, right? And yeah, it just hurts a lot, the idea that the fact that I couldn't, and it isn't. And I understand, like,
well, actually, it's funny you say that because oftentimes people who are quote unquote insanely talented and are molded into that stuff. Well, we see the greats. We see the likes like Magnus Carlsen and you know other people that have gotten in their field and have really improved and have become greater than you could ever become when you start at your 20s or whatever. But what we don't tend to see is the people that failed along the way, or the people that got overburdened, and the people that so in a certain sense, taking that route of like being molded from such a young age is incredibly taxing. Yeah. And so I'm not quite sure if it is a thing that we ought to necessarily say, oh, I wish to. If you know
I
what
agree.
I mean. Like, I want to say that myself a lot of times as well, and I feel tempted to do it, but then I always kind of catch myself on it. I'm like, can I say that? Because if you look, for example, at like in the field of philosophy, right? If I can bring it to that really quickly, you have someone like John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill was an absolute genius. He's like one of the founding fathers of utilitarianism, which is an ethic principle. He had read all of Aristotle and Plato before I even know who those guys were. Like he was 12 and he could speak like Latin and he could read these things just completely. He was a super genius, but his father, of course, was ruthless in enforcing that into him. Now, sure, he ended up being a great philosopher and having many, many texts of great value for us today. But we also know that his mental stability was not great. We know that from like his texts with his wife and stuff, that his letters to his beloved and stuff like that, that he was not, on many moments in his life, he was not doing good. And that is a thing that I was actually interested about talking with Legacy when you proposed the topic to me, was the fact that legacy is actually a very toxic idea in certain spheres. It is seen as something that ought to be strived towards and something that ought to be given to someone. And I know that if you asked me a year ago, I would be hell bent on making a legacy. I still, to a certain degree, have that ideal of wanting to have a noteworthy legacy. But really, can we want this societal ideal to be there when we know how many people suffer under it? It is it is an ideal, but it's almost unachievable. It isn't unachievable, but it's very hard to achieve. And so many people end up laboring and working themselves to the bone for something where you ought not to do it that way. You're destroying yourself. You're not building a legacy, you're destroying yourself before you can even get close to it. And so I'm not quite sure if the term legacy and how we use it and how we think about people with legacies and great achievements, I'm not sure if that's healthy for people in general. People like you and me, but also people who like Magnus Carlsen, for example. I don't know anything about the guy personally, but I assume that at least on some level it must be stressful to have that image.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know, but
yeah,
you know,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with that, by the way. Quick reference. In my opinion, before Magnus Carlsen, for me, the greatest player of all time was Bobby Fischer, and he actually did, quote unquote, go insane in his last 10 years of being. That's because that which mentioning chess. Chess is one of those things as well. Okay, well, I don't want to disrespect any other sport athletes, right? But with chess, it almost feels like you just play chess until you die. If you if you do, for example, I don't know, soccer, I believe the average soccer player stops at like 31, 32, right? Something like that, right?
Really?
With chess people, Bobby Fischer was like 50 and he probably still played chess, you know? Like he was still probably going.
Yeah, no.
And, yeah. Also, a lot of ice skaters. I noticed with a girl I liked a lot. That was she was a.
Normally, retirement for a soccer player is from 33 to 37.
37. That's really
the average
low.
age of retirement is 35 years.
An ice skater I liked a lot was Yulia Lipnitskaya. She was Russian, by the way. She was a great ice skater, but I believe she she retired very early into her career because she had like issues. And also I know that female ice skating, it's very a lot of pressure and a lot of girls get like body dysmorphia and from that type of stuff. I think she had that. I don't want to say that because it's quite a big statement, we know. But she's actually wait, how old is she? She's 24 now. No, okay. She quit in 2017. She was born in 1998. She's 24 now. So she started at 19 at ice skating. So
that is quite insane.
and she was at the Olympics. I see right here. She was 4 times in the Olympics. So she had incredible achievements while she wasn't even an adult, right? Like these things are, and of course people have like the pursuit. Like I also value a lot. Maybe you don't achieve a big legacy, right? But at least you had the pursuit of a great legacy. That could also mean a lot, if you ask me, right? But
definitely,
where I frustrate myself a lot with, and where I'm very critical of myself, is like with sports or with competing, for like example with esports. I'm actually ironically more likely to become an esport athlete or something than to be a great badminton player, just because a new game could come out and theoretically I have a better chance of that because everyone is quote unquote new, even though there's of course fundamentals that carry over. For example, if it's a shooter, if you already have a history in shooters, that transfers, right?
Yeah.
But I see in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to try hard in competition till I'm like 30, then I can give up, and then I can just be a hippie or something, or I can just focus on like playing music, writing stories, and stuff like that, you know? But
yeah,
it is. I mean, I do have to agree now, especially now that I took a break with badminton, right? Despite the fact that I still agree with myself that I want to take it very seriously and achieve a lot, I'm a little bit more distant, and I can actually say now, yeah, I'm a little bit unhealthy obsessed with getting good at badminton. But it's still like, damn, bro, I really want to be achieve something great, right? And that's, I don't know, I felt like that was interesting to talk about with legacy stuff, right? Because it's also probably, maybe I watched too many Doomer videos, right? But I know, like, I don't know if you know him, Dr. K, the healthy gamer GG or something. He talks a lot about psychology and stuff, right?
I don't. Oh wait, it's the guy that like makes Discord calls with people, right?
He does that from time to time, yes. But basically, he makes
I think I know him. Yeah.
Of course, he's like a psychologist, so he meets a lot of people with issues, right? But I get the impression that a lot of people also quote unquote feel behind in life or something along those lines, right? And so it's like, yeah, I don't know. that's why I wanted to talk about it. Like legacy is a really hard thing, right? For example, again with competitive stuff,
is.
it's so short. Your chance, like the next 10 years for me are like my only chance, quote unquote, to be to try and compete in something really hard, you know, and hopefully achieve something. Because I just really want it, but at the same time, like, how realistic it is, because it's a really competitive field, right? Like you really have to throw a lot at it, and in some sense sacrifice a lot of yourself just for the chance of it, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if there is value in trying to be better than others, and there is value in trying to be the best version of yourself. Maybe that's better. Better way of phrasing it. So there's value in trying to be a better version of yourself, trying to beat the one that you saw earlier. But recently, my ideas on life have become much more holistic. So, to give a brief history of my self-image, it used to be a more nihilistic view in the sense of like, how can anyone matter to anyone? And it went into a toxic sort of attachment to a singular person who I just admire to such an extent, right? Then later, I started realizing, or my realization became, my worth, my identity, myself is only what others think of me. So very much within the idea of legacy, people could only, if I don't have a legacy after my death. Think about in One Piece, there's a scene with like a doctor who, Dr. Hiruluk is his name, and he dies technically, but he says a person only dies when they are forgotten. And it's the same thing, right? So long as my identity stays within the thoughts of other people, I technically still exist. That was like my philosophy for a while. And recently I've been much more devoid of these things. You would think that when you study philosophy, you might be able to relate to more things. You might be able to figure out certain things that might fit with you. But the more you do it, the more you realize, wait, all of this makes sense and nothing makes sense at the same time. I am not sure. And I am still not sure, and I continue to be unsure, and it is very frustrating. But right now, what I would say is my vision of my own identity is a holistic thing, in the sense that everything all at once, that is me. I am part of the universe as a collective, and that universe as a collective, that is me, that is you, but that is us. We are one in that sense, if that makes sense. Everything, like earlier in the Discord we were talking about in the Views channel, I kind of expressed that thought, how I say that, you know, obviously you have the thought of nationalism, where, you know, like that reaches not as high points, but it reached the high points in the 1940s, right? And people were, but then it was a national identity, right? And then in more postmodern eras, we hear a lot more like, no, we are the human race. And then this guy comes along, his name is Peter Singer, and he starts talking about speciesism, and he's like, actually we're committing speciesism, right? And so we go into animal activism, and we start thinking, maybe we're not at that point yet as a society, but we're starting to entertain the thought that maybe it shouldn't be just the human race, it should be all living things. But then I ask, living things are made out of I am certain other people have asked this question too, by the way, but I don't know. I haven't read any literature on it. Living things are made out of non-living objects, and so what really differentiates us from something else is not being living. In fact, we should think about non-living things as if they are a living thing, in the sense of like, we should treat them with a similar degree of respect, a similar degree of care, right? Everything that exists ought to be cared for, and then you might go, okay, well, at least they are real. And then I might go, no, even fictitious things have an effect on us, blah, blah. And so what you're going towards is, there are things that exist, and there are things that do not exist. When I talk about things that exist, I'm talking about fiction as well. Fiction exists because it has an effect on other things, and ontologically it is linked to other objects within the world and has an effect on them. And things that do not exist cannot have this thing because they do not exist. We cannot even think of them because the moment we think of something that were to not exist, it suddenly exists.
Agreed.
And so therefore it is worthy of care. So then what differentiates us, what differentiates other things from being able to be cared about is whether or not they exist. Do they exist? They are worthy of care. Do they not exist? They are not worthy of care. Yeah, so that's. And I'm not quite sure anymore what the original thing was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know where you're building up to. I'm sorry for that.
No, but what did I deviate from? Because it had to do with identity in some sense. I know there was I know this is linked to it somehow, but I can't remember what the conversation was. Which is annoying.
Well, last thing I heard was Peter Singer. You're talking about him and.
Well, yes, but that's.
Yeah.
I was replying to something you said.
I don't know. My whole thing is just where do you want to go with your legacy? I guess. Oh, people feeling behind in life. I guess. Was that it?
Yeah, and so we as a society put a lot of effort into individual accomplishments, but there might be more of a thing to say as collective accomplishments. We cannot say that people like Isaac Newton were the sole person responsible for our current understanding of physics. They were heavily they were for their majority of their life leaning on Aristotelian physics, and it was only through seeing certain flaws within Aristotelian physics that they could see their own form of physics, which, by the way, was impressive, beyond impressive. I do not mean to downplay his things, and even then, his way of putting it into words, the language that we use that is built upon foundations from other people, the parchments that he used to write on was made by another person. All these things are connected to a whole collective, and to then talk about an individual legacy and see that as the only important thing about a person, I don't think we can do that and expect it to be healthy.
I mean, the thing is, right? Again, I understand what you're going to, right? Nobody can achieve anything without other people, right? Basically, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But a huge thing for me as well is just I don't care about, I don't want to be remembered as Julius Caesar or Napoleon, right? I just kind of want to have a fingerprint to show my love back for something, right? For example, let's say I really like making YouTube videos, for example, right? And that's nice. I love the fact that I can make these YouTube videos, and I have a lot of old videos. I should really just unlist them and put them in that playlist, and the playlist should have a description of I'm not proud of these videos anymore. Please don't take these things out of context. Honestly, that's what I should do, honestly. But my point is, I don't want to delete them because I still feel like if someone ever comes back and for some reason deep dives into my channel, right? I still feel like that should be an honest representation of what I want to say and want to be, right? But I should also show the failings in that. When I made my Valorant montages, right? There were some clips where I just deadass failed. Right? I had some cool plays, but I still failed the rounds. And I was told, I feel like a montage shouldn't just be win, 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 And again, I would be totally fine if I, for example, went to the Olympics in badminton and did not win much. Basically, just lost, right? But I just want to. I have so much love for what I do, for what I want to do, that I kind of just want to leave a fingerprint, an afterthought of any proof that I love this, and I committed myself to it. That's just what I really want to get to.
Can we not say that if we treat the universe as all that is, was, and ever will be, because it is if we say that we know that how's it called, ex nihilum, something like creatio ex nihilum, you can't make it creatio ex nihilum is a logical fallacy or whatever, where we think that we can create something out of nothing, which is obviously not possible, quote unquote obviously. If we assume that to be fact, which we don't quite know, I mean, we can what knowledge is about the universe is a difficult subject in itself, but assuming we know that we cannot create something out of nothing, and the universe is the collection of everything, then you and all of your experiences and your future failings and winnings and whatever happens in your life has already left its footprints. Even if through implicit means. People might not remember the name, but at a certain moment people will not exist anymore.
Yes.
However, the molecules that currently make you up, the thoughts of you, your presence, forever exists within a place in the universe. Forever exists within this thing that we call everything. And the connection between that, in my humble opinion, is honestly beautiful and baffling. The fact that there's such a myriad of differing things that all affect one another in this grand scope, yet all being individualistic. Like, we as a human body, if we were to take our body in isolation, even that is a conglomeration of our liver, our kidneys, our lungs, our bloodstreams, and all those things working together to keep this thing whole. And so even the individual is not an individual, it is a creation out of multiple things. And that's cool. That's really cool. And so I wonder if the legacy you strive for, or the you being like talking to a hypothetical person, not you, Kevin, this person strives for, has it not already been achieved? If one lives their life full of love and full of care and full of passion, does it matter if after 100 years their name is burned in a library? Of course it matters, because libraries are important and stuff, but like, does it matter that from a legacy perspective, not from an epistemic perspective, does it matter that their name is not remembered any longer? I argue it isn't, because somewhere within the very structure of the universe, their essence is preserved. What they did will always and has always exist, and that's cool.
I want to get into like very quickly, right? I 100% understand what you're trying to say, right? But I feel like the big thing for me, it feels like idealism, first of all. Second, I don't like it on the aspect of it's not a goal I actively chose, right? It's just a byproduct. So it's like saying you won by being born. And while I'm not gonna lie,
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, we'll get to that, but let me finish
No,
my
what I'm saying is okay.
But what it feels like is like I just wanted to put my efforts and passion into these things. Of course, by just trying, in some sense we already do it, right? But it's like trying to get a six-pack. Of course, if you work out and stuff, of course you're gonna look better, right? But it's still about just going at some point, going on the weight scale or going in the mirror and saying, yes, the goal I wanted to have, I achieved, and I own it in some sense, right? Maybe 200 other million people have like already achieved a six-pack, but I could prove it to myself that I got a six-pack, for example, right? And this also makes me think about what you're saying as well. It reminds me a lot of like, I don't know enough about philosophy, but my favorite philosopher, I guess, Friedrich Nietzsche's Amor Fati, you know? And I love Amor Fati as I thought, but I feel like you should start, or you should quote unquote end your journey with Amor Fati when you've thrown your best attempt into the ring. Then you can say.
But then you're not doing Amor Fati anymore. It's an incorrect representation of what the idea
okay.
means. Well,
I basically said what I wanted to say.
The idea is literally like I do not care if I was born deaf, blind, missing one of my kidneys. This is the life I wanted, and I am so happy. Yeah. It doesn't matter what happens. Like, but then you can't go, oh, when you've thrown your head into the ring. No, that's not how Amor Fati. Amor Fati is even if nothing allowed you the possibility to do it, it is still your life, and therefore you love it.
Yeah, I get that, but I kind of worked it to the way I like it. So that's what I do a lot.
No, but that's kind of what like philosophy is, you know. But then it's disingenuous to label.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. If you say it like that, okay, I fully agree. Yeah, so feel free to critique it now. I just wanted to get that point real out while you were busy about it.
No, yeah, but I do get the thing of like wanting to achieve something, and in that case, if the achievement is not made, then there is a lack within your efforts. However, the efforts in themselves are valuable, and you would be surprised by how difficult it is to begin the effort itself. to begin, the effort itself is not vanzelfsprekend.
Obvious.
No, not self-explanatory.
Obvious. Logical.
No, also no. It's not something that just happens,
yeah.
you know? Like, it's not something that everyone is necessarily capable of or wants to be capable of. I'll finish maybe the episode with this, or unless you have something else you want to say, and then I won't say it.
No, go ahead.
Currently I'm reading René Descartes' Méditation philosophique, métaphilosophique, which is his meditations on metaphysics. And his efforts within that is not merely creating a new image of metaphysics, and this is going to be oversimplified because we don't have too much time to get into it, but he wants to change the very will of the reader, the very essence of how they look at things. And that is like his efforts within the metaphysics. It's not merely just showing you different things, it's redirecting your vision and your will to a different aspect of the thing that you've already seen within a certain vision, a certain framework, which is a heavy toll to ask.
Yeah.
And so doing these things, having the will to do them, requires already an insurmountable amount of effort that a lot of people do not have the time or the ambition to do. And so the fact that people might already have that will to try is... And when I say try, I mean truly try. I don't mean I want to write a short story, I get 100 words in, oh man, I tried at least. No, you did not try. Trying is trying until it proves detrimental to other, until you realize if I go beyond, it's going to prove detrimental, so I ought to stop.
Put your heart into it, yeah.
You put your heart into it, you care about it, there's a sensation of passion. When that is there, that will is in and of itself already valuable. And that's what I'm trying to say. Just because you did not accomplish the goal, it's like the friends we made along the way, but it's not as cringe.
What?
I don't have...
It's not as cringe, hold on.
I haven't had the time to fully write it out and then come and deliver my speech. This is kind of like from the heart and from what I feel to be true.
You're freestyling.
Yeah, I'm freestyling. What I feel to be true can, like, surrounded by my other pieces of knowledge contradicting me in my mind that allow me to not say what I want to say and trying to think of a clear structure within it. But I hope that in this concise little bubble of my hopes and dreams and wants, I have gotten something across of some merit or value. If I have not, I am terribly sorry for receiving.
Okay, after this I'm really gonna stop, right? So, what do you, as closing ends, right? What do you think my idea of legacy is now then? Now that we've talked about it a bit more, now you got a little more understanding what I really meant or what I wanted to get into with this topic, legacy?
That's a very loaded question. But
sorry.
I guess it would be a form of individual achievement that at the end of when it's done, you can look in the mirror and you can say, I did it. It's a sense of...
But do you think that's healthy? What's your opinion about it?
Oh, you mean in that sense? I don't know, I'm not a psychologist. I think it's healthy to have ambition, and it's healthy to have a drive, and it's healthy to have a want and a will to do it. You know, that insurmountable will that you have to change your very core towards. Or some people are born with a disposition. Some people have that disposition towards a will, which is great. But there's obviously a point where it becomes too much, and I don't know if you've reached that point of too much. I don't know. I don't know. And I feel like that's my answer to way too many things these days.
I mean, not knowing is totally cool. I mean, look at people like Einstein. He was like, yeah, man, not knowing is like very normal and stuff.
No, yeah, it is, but it is annoying that it is. I don't want.
The thing is, I wonder at some point we will look back and have the answers, and I don't know. Maybe we love it. Let's think about that in the shower tonight. All right?
That is true. I will take a shower.
But as always, that was another episode of our podcast. It felt really quick this time, man. Like it was actually, I don't know. I hope people, yeah, well, we were like going hard at it, man. I hope people.
We were, yeah. Damn, yeah. I did not expect this episode to go this way. But
it was a great episode, I think. Well, I mean, I haven't rewatched it yet, but.
I agree.
Anyways, thank you guys for
Yeah.
watching. I hope you guys have another
Thank you very
great evening, and as usual, Oyasumi.
Oyasumi nasai.
Alright, dude, that's a good episode.